Hello, welcome back to Fred in the Shed 2. Now, before I start this video, where I'm going to try to resurrect this old iPhone 6 that's completely died, which I suspect is a battery problem, I'd like to say that if you're new to the channel, maybe you've come here via a Google or a YouTube search, this is not a how to replace the battery in your iPhone video. Okay, I have done those in the past. I had a very successful one with an iPhone 4 many years ago that was very successful on my channel, but this is not intended to be a guide or in any way how to do this properly. This is just for the amusement factor, just for my regular subscribers on Fred in the Shed 2, just an ordinary guy from a shed attempting to replace a battery on this iPhone, something I've never done before, and it may go completely wrong. I may end up breaking the screen, and so please do not take this as a guide. As I say, thank you for tuning in, thank you for watching, please sub. But as I say, don't thumb the video down because it's not a guide. This is just a long video just for my regular subscribers. So yeah guys, what I'm going to do in this one, as I say, we have got this iPhone 6. It's quite an old phone now. It's been sort of discarded, if you like, but it's in good condition. It doesn't have any scratches, or the screen isn't broken. It's been well looked after, but unfortunately it just doesn't work, which is a shame because it could be quite a useful spare phone for one of us if we break our phones or lose our phones. But yeah, I tried it the other day, and you plug in the sort of USB charger and all you get is the red battery symbol. I left it on charge for a whole day and the phone did come on, but I would say within 15 minutes the battery was completely exhausted. So I've come to the conclusion that obviously the battery needs to be changed. Not a particularly easy job on these later iPhones compared to the iPhone 4 that I did many years ago. Unfortunately, with these later iPhones, right up this is the iPhone 6 right up to the current, whatever the current one is, the front of the phone has to come off, which means you have to tackle taking off the screen. And obviously these screens are a sort of toughened type glass, and they tend to crack and shatter rather too easily, as many people have found out to their cost. If you drop one of these things without a screen protector on it and without a sort of a case, these things break anyway. Because I like to have a go at things. Bought this from Amazon. This is a V-Lee kit. I had a quick check to make sure it was the right one, but I haven't really looked at it. These kits are about anything from 10 to 15 UK pounds delivered. And there we go. We get an aftermarket 2250 milliamp or mega, whatever, mAh battery, lithium ion battery. These are different. This one is from the iPhone 6. I think if you've got the 6S, might have a slightly larger battery as well, so you've got to make sure that you get the right one. And then hopefully in here, it's rather nicely packed for 15 quid. That's all nice foam rubber. Oh, okay. Well, we've got some instructions as well, which I didn't realise. So I think I'm going to probably give that a miss, and I'm going to go with the iFixit, because I've used iFixit in the past. Also in the pack, yeah, it's not bad, is it? You get the little screwdrivers, the little pry tool. You get, what are these? These look like, kind of like little condoms. These are little Jiminy Crickets condoms. It's like little Jiminy Crickets rubbers. I got no idea what they're for. We won't go, perhaps we won't go down there. We've got a little thing there to put on the screen to pull the screen off, and yeah, a couple of little micro screwdrivers. Got the little sort of, I can't think of the name of them, there's a special name for the little iPhone screws. And something which I'm going to have trouble getting out, which I imagine is just a little pry tool. So there we go, and a pair of tweezers. That's alright. That's quite nice for £15. So that's the kit, that's what I'm going to be doing. We're going to have a go at that. I might speed this up a little bit. I don't want this to be a 30-minute video because people get really, really fed up with that, and I understand that. Right, just going back to normal speed now. I'm going to get the first chance to have a look inside the phone. The screen came off okay, didn't break it. What you've got to be careful of, and I only know this from what I've read, is there are some very, very thin cable connectors just under the screen here. And when we open this, and I'm going to hopefully just use this as a guide. When we open this, there we go. They are just in there, and what we don't want to do is we don't want to overstress those, and we don't want, the last thing we'll do is want to break any of those off, because then we're looking at a new screen, and that's sort of outpriced the project if you were. So I'm being a little bit careful here. You can probably by the sound of my voice, I'm being a very, very Right, so that's gone okay. We've got that top plate off. Those screws are different lengths as well. So now we've just got these little kind of connectors here, screen connectors. I believe there's about 3 or 4, and these just kind of pop onto the circuit board. I know you're not going to be able to see what I'm doing, but I just have to carefully. You've got to be so careful. It's so easy to tear some of these. Now this next bit is the bit I'm not looking forward to. We have this sort of white rubbery adhesive here, and the idea is that you pull this kind of back in one steady movement, and it removes the adhesive from the bottom of the battery. If I get this wrong and the adhesive snaps, then the battery is quite firmly glued in, and then you can't, well you can, but you've got to be really careful if you try and prise it all the way along. You then have to get some sort of very thin cotton or something and try and sort of saw through it. So this stage I'm not looking forward to. Yeah. Right, well I thought this was going to be a little bit too easy. I mean, in the guide it kind of said that you need just to pull this white adhesive out, and I've tried to pull it and it's just snapped in my hands. It came out on a big long line on what I saw on the pictures on the video, but it hasn't worked for me. So I think my next stage will be to get some cotton and try and get under the battery and very sort of carefully work it across the battery that way without sort of damaging the circuit board. So yeah, a little bit disappointed. I did think this was going to be a little bit tricky. It looked too easy on the sort of video. So right, I'm going to sort of stop the video and then get the battery out the hard way. Well, time for a little update. This battery is a real bitch to try and get out. Since those little white tags didn't work, I tried some 8-pound fishing line, tried to work that under the battery and tried to sort of scissor it across backwards and forwards. That didn't work, and the line just snaps. So we have to get a little bit more sort of brutal with it. You've got to be really careful. There's so much kind of delicate circuitry all the way around the outside and switches and God knows what else. But just using an old kind of credit type card here at the moment and just trying to force this under the battery. I don't want to fold the battery in half because these lithium ion batteries, even when they're depleted, have got a habit of smoking and possibly catching fire. So yeah, it's a real job, absolute pig of a job. These little pull things should have worked, and well, I didn't think they would somehow. So yeah, I'm struggling with it. Well, I think the brute force, also where's the microphone? Sorry about that. Yeah, I think the brute force way forward is starting to work. I think it's finally starting to give. Just having to carefully ease it through. Still not there. It's so strong, this adhesive, it's just unbelievable. There you go. Well, it looks like I've cut into the foil side of the battery, so I'm quite lucky that I didn't puncture that. But there's this chewing gum sort of tight adhesive, which I say is supposed to pull out. Right, let's have a look at this replacement battery then. And first things first, it appears to be the same size, which is good. It has a little bit of a plastic coating on it, which we have to remove. Okay, that shows a little arrow there. In actual fact, it looks like it comes off the other way. Okay, so it's one of those jobs, isn't it? So yeah, there's the Lee-V battery, and then there's the Apple. It's supposed to be a higher rating, but I wouldn't have thought that it is. Made in China. Okay, there isn't. So that's the screen connectors down. I'm always a little bit apprehensive about putting too much sort of pressure on the screen connectors themselves. So I think what we might try and do now is just see whether the phone boots, if there's enough power in that battery, just to see if we've got the screen working okay. Yeah, there we go. So that's okay. Looks like the screen's all okay. Well, that's those little screws back and a little cover back. It's quite tough because you just don't want to put too much pressure on these ribbon cables, especially with the camera here. Everything is so tricky, but I think I did it okay. Now this just needs to slide back on. There's a couple of like little tiny hooks that have to locate. This sort of has to slide up, if you like. There we go. And then everything should very, very carefully just push down and lock, hopefully. That sounded I didn't want it to do that. It certainly clicked. These are probably the easiest screws for the whole job. I mean, it's just fiddly. It's not difficult taking these phones apart, really. The battery was hard, but taking the screen off, I would be quite confident to just replace the screen. Although I think some of these aftermarket screens aren't particularly good. But it's just, you just have to take your time. You can easily do damage if you sort of rush it. And these little kits where you get all of the tools, they're not the best tools in the world. The quality isn't particularly good, and if you were doing a few of these, you probably would want to spend a bit more money. But these Lee-V tools are okay to do this job maybe once or even twice. You know, they're perfectly fine. Right, there we go. Just buffed the screen up. That's no trouble with these smartphones. The screens get so gunky. It's a bit like the screens I've got in cars nowadays, which I haven't got one of those yet, but I imagine that I will be at some point in the future. So it's an inevitability. Okay, moment of truth then. There we go. Here comes the little i logo, or the Apple logo, I should say. And yeah, hopefully this will sort of boot up. So, you know, there you go. Like I say, with some instructions, and I wouldn't use the instructions that came with it with iFixit or YouTube videos. People make much better videos than I could. YouTube videos, yeah, and I say the correct tools, £15 or whatever for a set of tools. and yeah, you can sort of have a go yourself. And this appears to be absolutely fine. So I've got half a charge on the battery. I couldn't even really get much past this stage last time. It just absolutely sort of failed. So there you go. We've now got a spare iPhone that we will keep in a drawer, just in case someone happens to lose or break their phone. So there you go, £15. Took a little bit of time. That battery was the main sort of problem. But all done. So yeah, thanks for watching this. I know it's just me mucking about with sort of something, but I hope you're all really, really well. I'm making this on the day before Christmas Eve, so it'll probably come on the channel at some point in the new year. So I hope you all had a nice Christmas. I hope you all had a good, safe, happy New Year's Eve. No one got too drunk. And yeah, cheers. Thanks for watching Fred in the Shed 2. Thank you for your continued support. Always welcome. Cheers. Give me the thumbs up at the bottom. That always helps. And stay safe. And I'll catch you all on the next one. Cheers, guys.